welcome back to the Drum Rundown. We are here in Nashville, Tennessee at the Brooklyn Bowl with Jeremy Salken of Big Gigantic. What is going on, man?
Yeah, not much, man. How you doing?
Awesome, good. Yeah, nice to meet you, and thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Was super excited to connect with you guys because acoustic drums at an EDM show. Wild.
What is that?
The first time I saw you, I was blown away at just like what that brings to the show. So talk to me a little bit about how it has been being like a kit drummer for an electronic project.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of how it's been since the beginning. Dominic and I were in Boulder playing in various bands, and he got a computer and started making beats on the computer, and we lived together at the time, and he was like, oh man, you should play drums over this. And we would just like jam in the basement, and he, you know, there were solo sections in it and stuff like that, but they were electronic beats, which was something obviously different at the time. And it just kind of went from there. It seemed like a natural thing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play kit, he's gonna play saxophone. There would be solo sections, there would be build-ups and breakdowns, just like you would have in normal electronic music, but we kind of add the extra spice in there. Having the acoustic drums like allows us to kind of bring some life to the music, you know, and kind of give it like this organic feel, where night to night it's going to be different because of different inflections that we're putting on it, different energy that we're doing, you know. So yeah, it's been amazing. I, you know, love being able to play drums and love the project.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the acrylic kit is so visually striking, and you have so many lights and the cool, awesome video backdrop.
Yeah.
What led you to the acrylic kit?
You know, for years I've had all sorts of drum kits that I would play on tour, and, you know, obviously mostly wooden kits, and then eventually from talking to our light guy back in the day and stuff like that, he was like, man, the like clear kit will just soak up light, like whatever light you put on it. And I talked to my Tama rep and was like, dude, what do you guys have an acrylic kit? Like, what's going on? And he sent me one, and I've had it for like 6+ years now, same one. What I didn't realize is like the tone of the drums would be so consistent and so even from night to night that, you know, they're getting thrown into a trailer or a truck and all sorts of different weather conditions and everything like that. And the acrylic just like holds up.
Yeah.
Whereas wood, you know, we'd be constantly retuning drums every night. And so not only do they look cool, but they sound really great. And it's just been a vibe that I've kept.
Yeah, and it certainly is a vibe. And that's so interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of drummers lean away from acrylic because they're like, oh, they're too fragile or dainty or whatever. They're not going to be road rugged.
Yeah.
Because they are so much lighter.
Yeah.
But you were saying there's benefit to them being lighter as well.
I mean, yeah, it's if you're schlepping it around, it's way less stuff to carry, you know. But it's held up. I don't, you know, I've played outside in 20-degree weather with them. Done everything. We played festivals where it's been hot.
Yeah, I've seen you at a festival when it was really hot.
Yeah.
And Bonnaroo is
Bonnaroo,
not.
it's sweaty.
Yeah, it's sweaty. So in terms of tuning, you're feeling like just a consistency out of this kit every night. It's just boom, and they sound great.
I love it. Been so happy with it.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the Tamas. What sizes do you have?
Cool. So I have a 14-inch snare. I have a 12-inch rack tom and 16-inch floor tom. I was using a 10-inch rack tom that I actually put over here, but I recently got this like kind of satellite closed hi-hat that I've been using, and I ditched that tom. And then I have a 12-inch side snare, which they didn't make a clear version of. So technically one of the drums is not clear, but it's like a steel drum, and kind of it's still like I tune it up pretty high, and like it hits where it needs to. But you know, if the Tama guys are listening, a 12-inch snare would be super dope.
Yeah, say that.
Acrylic.
You hear
Y'all
that,
should
Tama?
bring it back, dude. That's the one thing I'm missing. But yeah, love the drums. I've got Evans heads on there, which not endorsed, but like, you know, Evans, if you guys are looking, anybody
these look pretty clean.
They look clean.
Evans, these look pretty clean on this kit.
Yeah, and I just use like I've been using the G2s. Like even on the snare head, I use a clear snare head to kind of keep up with that, just so lights can kind of shine through it and whatever. And the clear head sounds great. It doesn't like, I thought I was going to lose that kind of grit and snap that I feel like you would get from a coated head, because I'd never played any other snare head than a coated head. And then I started playing these clear ones, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even really notice a difference.
Yeah.
So I got that on both snares are clear.
Cool. And
Yes,
the EC2S that you've got a little bit of the dampening ring on there. Are you doing that to kind of control some of your overtones?
So it's funny. I'd been using the G2 just straight up, and then just last week I was like, oh man, I need new heads. Went into a store, and they didn't have G2s.
Oh, no.
They only had these, and I was like, I'll try it out, because having that control is nice. Like just being in different rooms every night. It doesn't matter what the drum sounds like. Like sometimes the room is just out of control. There's reverb happening. There's all sorts of mysterious tones and whatever. And yeah, so this is actually the first time using these in a long time. So I'm stoked on it so far, though. They sound great.
The verdict. Yeah. So the verdict. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it certainly sounded great in sound check.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It was ripping. Let's talk about the cymbals. I see Meinls.
Cool. A lot of Meinls. Yes, sir. It's all Meinl. Love working with that company, and I have like a kind of a variety of things going on. It's all like Byzance stuff, and this is, I forget what it's even called. Yeah, the Trash Crash. Just with I love this thing, man. It just sounds so good, and it does what it needs to do. It's a trashy crash.
Yeah.
And then I have the like dual crashes. I like the two different like lathings on there. So this is an 18. We have an 18 crash here, and then a 20-inch dual crash ride, which I really love. I'm not using my ride that much in Big G, because it's like every song is like so big. It's mostly hi-hat and just smashing crashes. So I love the versatility of this, being able to crash on it. But because it's got the double lathing, it's a little bit like thicker up here. It's got a nice bell. It doesn't like lose the bell. And they just sound great, and they're dark and kind of trashy too.
Yeah.
And over on the right, I have another trash crash with this crazy like Generation X stackable cymbal.
Really cool.
And I just put it on top. It actually goes with this cymbal down here that's a stack, but I put it on here to get more of like, people don't use Chinas anymore, but that kind of like quick China vibe that now you can achieve with stack cymbals. But it took us until freaking mid-2000 somethings to figure that out.
It's so funny because like we've sat with a lot of drummers here in the last couple months, and it's just been stacks, and it's like your stack game is like your kind of point of pride. It's like, this is what I have, this is my crash stack. There's dudes coming out with signature crash stacks.
Oh, interesting.
And it's so funny to like get to a place where it's like, yeah, dude, just two cymbals weirdly on top of each other and like a new vibe. Totally.
I mean, I remember taking like an old China and putting a splash inside of that to get this same effect. And then, I don't even know who I remember like saw do it first years ago, but I've been stoked on it ever since.
It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a point of pride to be like, I was the first dude that had a crash stack, and I started a whole trend.
Right? I'm trying to think where I got it, but it's never turned back after that. And then this little guy down here, I can't remember what it's like a custom classic, just like Holy Dude.
Yeah, little custom classic Holy China,
and then it happens to fit on top of the Generation X thing, which these two sound okay together. These two are like butter. Like they sound amazing. It's not too like I don't even know, high pitch or too like metallic sounding. It just sounds like it should. Yeah,
you get that little chick, you get that crunch through the mix, but it's awesome.
Sounds great.
And the hi-hats that you have over here.
Yep. So I have some I think they're extra dry mediums. It's really what I used to play over here, and then I had a second set. I've been having some weird back problems for a few years, and I'm like, I'm gonna try playing instead of like twisting my body and playing like this all the time. So my chiropractor was like, dude, your back is like always like this. You need to like straighten out. So I put a hat over here so I could play more open.
Okay.
Was literally the reasoning for it, and I just did that in the last like few weeks. So it's been a trial run, and I've been digging it. I feel like it kind of relieves me from like twisting as much, and then I also can do I'll do left hand lead stuff. So I'll kind of try to keep it open when I can. Yeah. So
I
this is
feel
an experiment right now.
That's awesome. I mean, I love that you're experimenting with the layout for the ergonomics, for body tension. We talk a lot on this show about making your kit feel good, and I'm looking at everybody feel confident to move stuff around and get that tension out of your body. And it also creates opportunities for different compositions. Have you found that moving stuff is leading you in different places creatively?
Oh, for sure. Like a 1,000,000%. And just kind of opening things up is not keeping me trapped here. If I need to get to my rack tom, it's a classic problem. But instead of kind of leaning up and doing that, I'm just over here and I can kind of move around easily. I've been digging it. I'm debating on getting a remote pedal. That's the one. This is just permanently closed, but that would be the next step. But I don't know if I'm there.
More gear. More gear, the merrier.
Man. Yeah.
Speaking of more gear, it looks like you've added a double. Is that also to deal with this kind of staying straight vibe?
It is, yeah. The double pedal, it's not just for chops and trying to be crazy and do a bunch of blast beats or whatever. But it's honestly mostly for my back, and because I overuse my right leg and my hip flexor and everything's just jacked, I've tried to combat that by using more my left. When you're playing a ton of house music 20 minutes straight, it's just boom, boom, just four on the floor the whole time, and it just kind of my legs wearing out. So it's nice to have this other pedal, which has been great. It's kind of kind of more left hand, I'm using I'm left-handed, but I play a righty kit, so it's been kind of just adding to my skill set with my left foot, and I've been obviously training it because it can't really do doubles or anything fun like that. But yeah, and I've also found that I have been doing some double kick stuff in the build of a song where it gets really big and it's just time for
I mean,
I'll throw that in there sparingly. But yeah, it's been great. I got the Iron Cobra. I got the 600 because I was just trying to get some last minute. I didn't go for the 9, but I've been really liking it. I don't need much in a kick pedal, honestly. I just need it to work.
Yeah.
I don't need any fancy crazy tuning things.
I mean, Iron Cobras are legendary, and I feel out of the box, they do what you need to. They're quick, responsive.
Yep. I mean, as I build up my speed, I don't know. I might need to get the speed Cobra or go to a different level, but
you've got the doubles.
We're keeping it
you've got the China.
Yeah.
When do we get a hardcore breakdown in a Big G song?
Yeah, right. I don't.
Just open the pit up, dude.
Just full on. We need that.
Yeah.
We need that. Definitely. Maybe during a dubstep tune.
I'm here for it.
Just open it up. Yeah. I'll talk to Dom.
Yeah. You talked to me when we were setting up about being a left-handed player and playing a right-handed kit and how you kind of learned to play drums.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that again?
Yeah. Growing up, I because I was left-handed, I was struggling with this. My right foot always wanted to be on the kick pedal for sure. I wasn't left hand or left-footed kind of. I am left-footed, but not in that way. And I was huge fan of Carter Beauford growing up. Dave Matthews, being from Virginia, they were the local heroes.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s, they were went from playing 500-person clubs to amphitheaters to taking over the world. And Carter was the biggest inspiration, just so clean. His time was perfect. Played every different style of music imaginable, time signatures. I just learned a lot just from mimicking him. I would get tapes from my cousin who was older and have little tapes, and I'd play along to it and just try to play every little note, figure out what Carter was doing. So I played, and I wanted to just be like him. So I played open, had a ride on my left, and as I got older, I was crushing 2 and 4, straight stuff with my left, but I couldn't swing with my left hand, but I could swing with my right. So at one point I had 2 rides going, and it was just kind of getting out of control. And then when I would sit in, I would be playing ride with my left hand over it was just, and eventually I stopped practicing that as much and became more dominant. I wish I had kept it up because I would have way more just flexibility with my left hand, but I still got it. I can still hold down some stuff.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Left lead. So yeah, it's been, as a lefty, I've always been kind of going back and forth.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. And what sticks are you using?
I got the Vic Firth 55As.
Okay.
I've been loving them. When I was playing like jazz and funk gigs back in Boulder and stuff, I used 7As. And then as Big Gigantic was like happening, we'd play these like bigger and bigger rooms. I'm like, the 7As just are not, I can't get enough.
Yeah.
That's how it felt anyway. I'm sure there's a mic on the drum. I'm sure you can hear the drum if you hit it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what. But I went to like 5As and then eventually 5Bs. So I was like using what felt like, logs when I'm playing. And then in the last like year or so, I kind of went back to 55A, which is a nice in between.
Yeah.
And I've really, really been digging them. It's got whatever tip this is, and I really like that. It's not like a rounded tip or too pointy.
Yeah.
Yep. Really dig my Vic Firth stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what do you got going on over there on the monitor side?
So I have my own, I have a mixer here. We're using this like Behringer mixer because of the desks that we have that work with this mixer for whatever reason. We've had different ones throughout the years. And I pretty much I'm OCD and I want to have, control of things. And night to night, it changes so much. I don't want to have to be like, turn the kick up, kind of like in a mic all night. So I have a ton of options here, ton of channels for like kick, tracks, click, saxophone over there, talkbacks, all sorts of different options, guests when we have people sit in. So I can just kind of like look down, press the channel, turn it up or down really easy, kind of do that without. And then I do have a mic just in case.
Just in case.
I need to be like, yo, hit them with the lasers. Because that happens sometimes.
Yeah, as you need to do.
Yeah, I'm like running light, helping out. But yeah, love that. And my ears, man, I got Sensaphonics.
Okay.
Big Sensaphonics fan. I have the like ambient, I have the ears that have like little ambient mics on them.
Okay.
I think it's like the Aero 3D.
So you can turn up the kind of room a little bit,
I can
right?
turn, because every night is different. It's so different. So being able to kind of turn up the ambience, I have them like on like the first or second setting, but so it's just a little bit, but it's enough where like I don't feel like I'm in a Steely Dan album and it's just like dry. I would love to be in a Steely Dan album, but not.
Hey, we know
at
a couple
show.
guys. We know a couple guys
Dude,
you can hop in on a jam session with. Yeah.
Legends. But yeah, that it just kind of opens things up, and you can hear the crowd, kind of feel the energy from them because that is a huge part of what we do. So yeah, I like love these ears so much, and they're the like soft silicone.
Okay.
So they're not that hard like acrylic feeling stuff that I just love it. I can't get enough.
Cool. And the monitor mix goes into your throne.
Yep, it goes into the throne. So I have control of my Porter Davies booty thumper. I don't even know what the correct term for these things are. But man, this was a game changer. I definitely went years of just having to crank the kick in my ears, not really feeling it. There's subs under the stage. Those are rattling everything. I can't even tell what, I hit my kick. I'm like, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And tried all the different versions of things that attach to, your throne and all that. And through the Porter Davies, once I found that thing, it's like no turning back.
Yeah. It's a game changer for sure. And everybody that uses them is like, I cannot
never
do a gig again without this, especially when you're playing 4 on the floor dance music. I mean, you need to have that beat.
You want to feel it, and now it's in our back line like rider, like always. And to throw it back to Carter, I saw a picture from behind his kit and was like, what is on his stool? Like, because I was like, what does he use? He's got to use something. Is he attaching the Pearl Thumper to his freaking like? There's no way that's what's happening. And I saw that and was like, started looking it up, and then found it and was like, God bless, this is amazing. Let's get it. And yeah,
I love how passionate drummers are about it. I was running sound for this dude, and he had one, and he was like, please sit down and play it. He's like, you have to feel it. Like, people that use them are so passionate about them because they are that important.
They're pretty great. They're pretty great, yeah. They just need to build like a backrest to it. That's the only thing.
Let's mod one out. We'll build you a
right
custom.
now I am. I'm like, right after this, I'm going to a drum shop to try to like get one on there.
Awesome.
But yeah. Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us today. Thanks for giving us a rundown of this awesome kit.
Thank you,
it's
sir.
Very
Appreciate it.
nice to meet you. And man, what a beautiful, beautiful rig.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you. Great chatting.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
See y'all out there.
Well, we are here with Jeremy Salken of Big Gigantic. This has been the Drum Rundown. We will see you on the next one.